And new visitation rules at hospitals are taking a toll on some of our local families. You can only now visit a loved one in very specific circumstances: end-of-life care, labor and delivery, and pediatric cases. 7 News reporter Henry Coburn is joining us live in Spartanburg. And Henry, we can imagine this is really tough for families.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a really tough time, as anybody could imagine. Now, those no visitor rules, and you can see the sign up on the hospital over my left shoulder, are, in effect. And there are a couple exceptions, but for the woman I spoke to today whose dad is in the hospital, she is not an exception, unfortunately.
It's just your ordinary type of guy that he likes to keep busy and do things.
Melinda Garner's dad, Rin, was taken to the hospital after doctors thought he had had a heart attack.
They kept saying his troponin levels were very high, and they kept shouting that he'd had a heart attack.
Because he had a low oxygen count and a change in the CDC guidelines, doctors then had to test Rin for the novel coronavirus.
And that's when they had us self-quarantine and him as well, and then we couldn't see him for several days. It's been very frustrating and upset because you can't always get answers from the hospital because they're busy with other patients as well, and understand that, but it's like I'm concerned about one person.
That was Friday, and results of the COVID-19 test did not come back for days. By the time Melinda could finally go see her dad, visitor guidelines were already going into effect.
I fed him and we stayed till about 5 o'clock. And once I left, I wasn't allowed back, and I tried to go back, and I wasn't able to get in.
To date, we still only have one person in all of Spartanburg County, Union County, and Cherokee who have tested positive. We certainly expect that that will change. And so, out of an abundance of caution and concern for all of our staff and the patients and the visitors, we feel this is a difficult but necessary change that we've had to make.
Now, of course, the hospital is encouraging people to communicate with their loved ones who they can't see using their phones and things like FaceTime and Skype. But unfortunately for Melinda, she was unable to get a phone to her dad before those guidelines went into effect. But she's, of course, hoping for the best news possible. Tonight, we're live in Spartanburg. Henry Coburn, 7 News.